I think it was probably about 1981 that Harv had targeted a particular area in South Dallas. It was a housing project called Rhodes Terrace. Part of what I did was just kind of prepare the neighborhood for folks from the church to come in, build relationships, introduce them. So that was kind of the initial phase of it. Then it just began to kind of snowball and build from there. We started putting friendship teams in the community. We started harvesting some of their desires and dreams and trying to find resources back in the church to fulfill that. And beginning spiritual ministries and what the STEP strategy was at that point in time.
The Lord loves all of us, but he especially mentions the poor, the brokenhearted, this widow, the orphan, the foreigner. And so I kept reading this over and over again, and I had hoped that there'd be a way to combine churches from the inner city, churches from the suburbs, to tackle this problem together in a spirit of prayer.
So we started a church on Broad Street with the intent of targeting the Jackson Ward area. And we were there just for a very short period of time before trying to think about how we're going to do it. We started knocking on doors right around Marshall Street and places like that. But then we decided how can we be more effective. This what happened. I looked at, I believe it was CBN, and E.B. Hill was on there talking about this program they're going to have in D.C., Washington, D.C. So I called my elder, and he still live in Tower. I said, I heard about this particular event. I think we ought to go up there and see what's going on.
In 1983, it was decided that STEP needed to be showcased, and Washington was picked as the site, and so there would be this STEP conference, and I think that there was an advertisement in Christianity Today.
And there'll be Harv Osteich, whom I had known from my Young Life days in high school, and E.V. Hill, Dr. E.V. Hill, a very large, outspoken LA pastor. Dr. Hill kept saying, we need a catalyst in each one of the cities. We need a catalyst. So I raised my hand and said, well, how do you find a catalyst? You be the catalyst. Anybody else here from Richmond? Come up here. So the Cornishes came up, the Baileys, Mary Doug Enghauser, and he said, I'm gonna perform a marriage. You all are married. You're gonna go home and start the STEP program.
The only one I knew was my elder, the two of us. Because to find out, so we was at different tables. So he says, y'all need to get together because I'm going to pronounce a marriage, a relationship. And y'all need to get together and figure out how y'all going to reach Richmond. It was a very inspirational thing. And looking back on it, it had to be a sort of a supernatural thing. And he told us to get together at the same table, and we did. We got together at the same table. And that's where it started.
When Bob came home from the conference, he was pretty excited because he said, I think God may have closed a door that we were looking at somewhere else and maybe opened a new one. He brought home a lot of energy, vision. This fit with who he was and who we were. It was a way we could serve together. And he brought home a few assignments for me. There was some work that needed to be done. There were relationships that had to be made. There was new friendships. And here was a strategy that sounded like it was going to really work. It was comprehensive. It wasn't easy. We were total novices, but we were a team of people. That marriage that had been performed at the conference brought together a new set of friends. And we began meeting together and praying together. And I think it kindled in me what I knew was the heart of God. You read Isaiah 58 and you can't walk away from that and do nothing. That's God's heart for the world, and here was a way that we could get a little piece in it.
One of the things that E.B. Hill said, that there are a lot of people sitting in the pews that have different callings, different things on their hearts that they'd like to be involved with, but don't know how to get started. Where's the opportunity to get started, and what it is that they feel that God has placed in their heart. And that's what the STEP strategy was about.
At the point of a need in a neighborhood, there are not many resources. And Brother Harold Wilson, Pastor Harold Wilson and Sister Della were there. And so we began to build a friendship with them and just, he was God's choice, along with Emmett and Brenda and Doug and Joanne Cornish.
I knew coming here and trying to establish a church in this community, I knew that there was a job that was bigger than one man and his wife. It was broader than one denomination. This was something that needed a broad-based coalition. There was a lot of need here, a lot of hurt, and the more I stayed here, the more I fell in love with the people. And so I felt if I could just maybe be connected to people who had skills and resources and experiences and intelligence beyond me, beyond mine, that would be for God's glory, we prayed, and for the elevation, can I say, of the people.
The stuff that lives on is the human-to-human contact. People's lives get put on a different trajectory because of relationship.
It's good to look back, to reflect, and to encourage ourselves. But I would just say to Steph and to Tim and to Victory and to all of us that we still have a mission, a great commission today. Let's look forward. Let's keep moving, because this is still the day of salvation, but the scripture said the night is coming when we will no longer be able to work.
If it's the Christmas store, or if it's the tutoring process, or if it's a friendship ministry team, if it's Jobs for Life, whatever those things are, to put really good, solid people in place to continue that work and effort, and to know that it does make a difference. It is significant.